So this is the current status of the megasquirt 3 Pro RX7. Remember, this is started as a 1990 GXL. This is a non-turbo automatic. As you can see here, it actually has a manual transmission in it. That was something I did several years ago. It's actually one of the first big mods I did to the car, and probably the biggest. Car has recently been painted. Now, it's been painted by Mako. They didn't pay a lot of money. However, for the money I did pay for them to do, I thought they did a great job. Now, keep in mind, I'm trying to show you, keep in mind that the paint, there's some orange peel all over the car. I think it's an acceptable rate, especially considering what the paint was underneath with this, the condition of the surface beneath it. And I didn't go out and do a really good job of prepping the surface beforehand. I did do a lot of prep, but not to the detail of this car to get that showroom flat shine. And I knew that if, push comes to shove, I can always come back through and cut and buff, which is actually what I had started doing on this here panel here. This is actually pretty good at this point. It's pretty flat in comparison to say the roof, where you can see quite a bit of orange peel. But nothing I couldn't get out. But so this is right now. This is the 13B turbo. So this car was originally a non-turbo. This now has a turbo engine in it, with a lot of different parts. The rundown will be pretty simple in a lot of the mods. Starting off with the first thing. I mean, this engine only has about roughly 200 miles on it. I built it about 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, something like that. So what you have is a new irons. So your front, intermediate, and your rear plates housings are actually new. I bought those from Miles of Tricks. The housings, my actual rotor housings, front and rear, were reused from my previous build, which was an S5 Turbo 2 engine, which I took to Freelance Auto Motorsports guys to resurface it. They did a great job. So I wanted to get really good compression on this motor, so I did that. It came out looking almost like new. Very good. And I'm running a S6 turbo. Obviously, turbos only come with 6 rotors, which of course are the 9-to-1 compression rotors. Running the hardened stationary gears. I'm running a S6 alternator because it has higher amperage than the S5 ones, and air pump delete or emissions delete. The turbo originally was a stock S5 turbo. It is now a knightsport RF320. So it's supposed to be good for about 320 wheel horsepower. I haven't had this car dynoed. I can tell you right now that it does pull a lot harder than a stock S5 turbo, which is what I ran for a long time. The turbo that I did run in this car, it's now sold. I still have an S4 turbo, which I'm going to sell it to, as well as a S6 turbo. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but had aspirations of a twin turbo FC. Basically came down to that being worth it. So yeah, so the motor that's what the motor is. I mean, aside from those things, it's the same. The drivetrain is actually still right now in a 5-speed. So you have the 5-speed transmission, and you have the NA 5-speed rear differential with the 410 gears in the back. I did get rid of the mechanical fan to go for E fan. I didn't do it to be cool or anything like that. I did it so that I can gain more space and have more control over that stuff. Getting to the front engine in general without the original red shroud on here in the radiator was a pain in the ass. I had a lot of problems getting the E-fan to work right and be able to get it to turn on and turn off, and I went through a lot of stages to get it to work right. I actually got to the point where it is functionally very well. However, it is unappealing to look at. So this is a really big relay here. It's like 100 amps, something like that. It's really beefy. And I have a 80 amp fuse or thermal switch there. Very reliable. That system doesn't trip, doesn't cause me any problems. And now I have to clean it up, of course. That looks horrible. But I'm running IGN1, IGE. I can't remember the name. These are the Marine 1 coils. For my leading. For my trailing, I'm still running the stock ones. The reason why is because I'm too lazy to actually do anything to get the tack working. If I ever change those out for something else, I do have some LS1 coils I was going to play with, but at a later date. Literally, just like a lot of things right here. It's going to actually do maybe some other touch-up work inside here. I mean, as long as it's functional and I got to clean these wires up, I didn't really care about the way that looked. As long as it very functional, it's going to be very reliable. The way it is right now, it's reliable enough. However, there's a lot of things you change, namely the wiring. I don't like that. On the outside of it, this is a GP1 Sport front bumper. These side skirts, I don't know where they are. They're not the right ones for this front. In fact, I actually have the right ones right here. I just need to have them painted and put them on. And I have the Shine Auto rear bumper cap, which I really like. I like the way it looks. Aside from it, clearly the car's running a megasquirt 3 Pro, so full standalone EMS. I'm running some really cheap coilovers. I do have Swift springs in the back. I plan on putting Swift springs in the front as well before going full out with some new coilovers. I actually already have some in mind. It's just a matter of me trying to exercise some control over my wallet to make sure I control my spending. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Fortune Auto ones. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with the Fortune Auto ones. But yeah, this is it right now. This car has gone through a serious evolution over the years from when I first got it. I like it. I like it a lot. The goal right now is to clean it up. Since the paint is good now, I mean, for the most part, I still got to cut and buff, but it's all one color. Clean it up and make sure that it is as reliable as possible. That is the goal.